Obligatory Nerdist question. Can you tell us about any of the comics that you guys were looking at for research for this project?
We looked at all of them. I think that what's so great about the MCU is that we are doing new versions of these stories and characters, but we're building on what existed beforehand, and we're hopefully setting up what's coming up, much in the same way that each one of the comic inspirations that we looked at was building on what had come before it. And so, there's so much wonderful work out there, and all of it was valuable as we built this show.
If you had to pick out of all of the things that the comic books were inspiring you guys to put into the show and to kind of remix and work into the show, out of all the stuff from the source material, what was the most important to you, Matt, that you got to bring to life when doing the show?
I think it's really about the relationship between Wanda and Vision. And I think that's a through line with all of the other comics. It's true, certainly in the movies as well. I think their love story really works. It works on the page. It's worked on the screen. It works because of the chemistry of Paul and Elizabeth. And that's what really the springboard is for this show. This is a love story. It's a romance, and I think the spark that they have here, she is this person who suffered a lot of trauma, who's incredibly fiery, and here he is. He's this synthezoid who's not really human, and yet he's more human than any of us because he's this philosopher and he seems to get it. And you have these two really unlikely people coming together. Opposites attract, and it's a beautiful pairing, and I think that's really been the energy, the fuel for this whole show.
I love the way you're summing that up. You were almost quoting Vision in Infinity War when you're like, I think it works. I think it works. I think I'm going to say it and think it worked. That was great. Another comic book question for you: the character of Wonder Man, Simon Williams, pretty pivotal in the comic book world. At any point, did you guys at Marvel Studios consider him being a part of this series? Is this something maybe that can happen down the line?
Plead the fifth on that one. Plead the fifth.
Fair point. Okay, great. Talking about the amazing remixing of this show, we travel through the eras of television history, man, and it's so much fun. As a television and pop culture fan, what was your favorite aspect of getting to utilize these classic styles and eras for the show?
Well, getting to have lunch with Dick Van Dyke and Kevin Feige was definitely the highlight of this research that we did. Being in the presence of the most amazing, brilliant performer, he's inspired.
Please tell me that the waiters were animated penguins. Please, Matt, tell me.
That would have been amazing. But there we were in this restaurant right above Pirates of the Caribbean, right at Disneyland. It was a dream.
Wait. You had this lunch at Club 33?
We did. Yeah, it was in the weekend of B23. We've been trying to figure out when we could do it. He happened to be down there too. They were honoring Dick that year. But it was more than just a chance to sort of kiss the ring. And though we were very happy to do that, it was about what is the secret sauce? Like, how did you make the Dick Van Dyke Show the amazing timeless classic that it is, and to try to glean whatever bits of wisdom that we could. And so I love that show. I love Lucy. I love Bewitched. I love I Dream of Jean. There's so many of the shows that we were riffing off of that were personal favorites of mine that I used to watch in endless reruns as a kid. And so look, this was the best job ever. That my research was just go watch lots of old TV. Like, come on, that's the best job ever. Wow. So yeah.
Episode 1 has that Dick Van Dyke flavor, definitely that style, and I think that you guys nailed it. It was so much fun to watch it and to know, wait, this is a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is bizarre, but knowing that everything is going to sort of find its way back to that original franchise is great. But speaking of that first episode and whatever other episodes you guys utilized this, you used a live studio audience. What was that like directing for that?
That was such a huge part of that. And we did it just for the first episode because Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, those shows did it too. And more than just saying, oh, well, they did it, so we need to do it. There was a reason why they did it and why those shows really work because of it. They're theater. They would rehearse, they would put it on beginning to end. If you go to a modern sitcom taping now, you see the scene like 3 or 4 times. And by the end, the stand-up comic is like, come on, guys, laugh. They didn't do that on Dick Van Dyke. They just did it through like a play. So the audience has seen it all for the first time, laughing for real. The actors are feeling that energy. The performance rises to the occasion. It's lightning in a bottle. And, that's what I wanted for this show. I wanted us to feel exactly the same way. So we got, dressed up in period clothing. We were shooting on vintage lenses and vintage lighting, and we had, everything about it felt like, this was a time capsule, a trip, to the past. But it really energized the experience, I think, for everybody.
That is such a trip. I mean, the cast has talked about how fun it was, but yeah, I can just imagine that energy that's got to be so fantastic. That's got to be awesome. Last question I want to ask you, going back to some of those great Marvel references and Easter eggs, I have to say, glamour and illusion are some deep cut references, Matt. I was like, hang on a minute, hang on. Oh my God, incredibly deep cut, nicely done, really nicely done. Are there any other references or Easter eggs that fans can be excited about, and where should they sort of be paying attention if those things are in the show?
There are a ton of them, obviously, and we put plenty of things in on the writing level, the directing level. Our prop guy, Russell Bobbitt, who's amazing, who did Thor's hammer and Cap's shield and has been around forever, just did a bunch that I didn't even realize were there until I was in the editing room, and I was like, what? So there's a whole mix of those in there for sure. But there's some very meaningful sort of little Easter eggs that end up becoming certainly, pieces of evidence that can help you put this puzzle together too.
I'm incredibly excited. Like I said, I saw the first 3 episodes. Going back to just that pilot, the first one, the Dick Van Dyke episode, you guys were using that studio audience, and there's a turn in the story where something shifts and it goes to different sort of camera angles. They're at the dinner table, and Matt, I got chills, man. And I was like, I'm going to love this show. Only seen the first 3 episodes. I cannot wait to see the rest. I can't wait for everybody else to see it. Congrats to you and everybody who worked on the show. Thank you so much for talking to me, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.